Chapter 10. Sexual dissatisfaction. They're afraid to discuss. This pathway is often misunderstood as they cheated because they wanted more sex. That's usually not what's happening. It's far more about feeling undesired, rejected, ashamed of sexual needs, embarrassed to ask for what they want, afraid of hurting their partner, afraid of being seen as too much, too weird, or too needy. So the issue isn't a lack of sex, it's a lack of safe sexual communication. What this feels like internally. Over time, one partner starts feeling their advances are declined more often, their preferences aren't welcome, their desire level is mismatched, their fantasies feel unacceptable. Sex has become routine, mechanical, or rare, but they don't say anything because sex feels like a dangerous topic. They think, I don't want to pressure them. I don't want to seem obsessed with sex. I don't want to make them feel inadequate. Maybe this is just how long-term relationships are. So they silence themselves. But sexual rejection hits very deep psychologically. It often translates internally to, I'm not desirable. I'm not wanted. Something is wrong with me. What happens when someone else shows sexual interest if another person shows flirting, sexual attention, curiosity, openness, desire? It can feel incredibly powerful because it restores something that felt lost, being sexually wanted. That feeling can be emotionally overwhelming, not because they want that person, because they want to feel desired again. The dangerous misinterpretation. They don't think, I'm starved for sexual validation. They think the chemistry with this person is amazing. But the chemistry is coming from relief of sexual insecurity. Alex and Priya married 10 years. Priya's libido dropped after the kids and stress. Alex understands and doesn't want to pressure her. So he stops initiating as much. He tells himself, it's fine, this is normal. But internally he starts feeling rejected, undesirable, embarrassed for wanting more, ashamed of his sexual needs. He never says this out loud because he doesn't want Priya to feel guilty, so the silence grows. At work, a colleague starts flirting with him, nothing explicit, just playful comments, eye contact, suggestive humor. Alex feels a rush he hasn't felt in years. He feels desired, and that hits the exact wound he's been carrying silently. What's happening psychologically? This isn't about sex. This is about sexual self-worth being restored. He starts thinking about her because she makes me feel attractive again. The shift. They start texting. The tone becomes flirtatious. He feels alive, confident, wanted. At home, he still loves Priya deeply. But now he associates. Work equals feeling desired. Home equals feeling rejected. Why does this turn into an affair? Because the emotional relief is too strong. And he never addressed the real issue, the sexual silence in his marriage. The tragic irony. Priya would have been open to talking. She didn't know how deeply this was affecting Alex, but because he never spoke, the problem moved outside the relationship instead of being solved inside it. The core psychological truth. When sexual needs feel unsafe to express, they don't disappear. They turn into shame, insecurity, and longing to feel desired. And the first person who activates that feeling can become dangerously attractive. Why is this preventable? Couples who avoid this normalize conversations like, I miss feeling desired. Can we talk about our sex life honestly? I feel awkward bringing this up, but it matters to me. Because sexual dissatisfaction becomes dangerous only when it becomes unspoken.